Hello and welcome to Career Magic. My name is Nitin Kulkarni. I help career professionals turbocharge their careers. I typically work with mid-career professionals, but this series is meant for people who are just getting into their career, so sort of pre-career. So that is what this series is about. This series is about getting hired. This series is about getting your career. So broadly, the objectives of this series is to get into the right job. What do you have to do in order to get hired into the right sort of opportunities? And then once you get in there, what are the sorts of things you should do to get your career started on a very good note? So those are broadly the things that I'm going to cover. Right now I can think of 5 topics, but this is going to evolve as we get into it. Maybe there'll be more. But right now, my starting hypothesis is that there will be 5 major topics. The first one is getting ready to be hired, and this is the first video in the series, and I'll get into that in a moment. But getting ready to be hired is well before you're applying for jobs and you're taking interviews, etc. The second topic is going to be about writing a killer resume. How do you get selected for interviews? The third topic is going to be preparing for interviews, before the interview. What do you do before the interview to be ready for the interview? The fourth topic is going to be in the interview. What do you do in an interview? What are some do's and don'ts? What are some tips to do your best in an interview? And then the fifth topic is about becoming a valued professional, launching your career on the right note, setting yourself up for success. Now, I was a student once, and I have gone through this whole process, and then I was a career professional, and last 12 years I have been helping career professionals. So I've gone through the entire cycle, so I'll be able to fill you in with all the perspectives and what kind of mindset you should have and what are the things you should do in order to be successful. So that is what this series is about. 5 broad topics. It could be more than 5 videos, I think, and I'll add videos as we go along if there is a need to address more topics. So okay, let's get started with the first topic, which is getting ready to be hired. Now, the mindset that we need to have about getting ready to be hired is not that getting ready to be hired, the process starts. So, for example, if you're fortunate enough to have your to have your college arrange for campus interviews, it doesn't start at that point, or it doesn't start once you have finished your degree or about to be finishing your degree and now you're starting looking for opportunities. Getting ready to be hired is a mindset you need to cultivate well before the time comes for you to apply, get interviewed, etc. Because you have to do certain things in order to do your best in the interviews, and that starts at least 6 months, if not more, before the interview. The earlier you start, the better off you will be. But no worries, if you have only 2 months to go for your interviews, that's okay. You can still cover a lot of ground, but the concept and the mindset remains the same. You have to get ready to be hired. The first thing you've got to do, and many of us make this mistake. So I was a student once. I did my BTech from IIT Delhi, and then I was fortunate that we had campus interviews, and I got hired from a campus interview, went to work for my first job, which was Maruti Suzuki. But even before we get into that, it is very, very important for us. Remember one thing: if the job that you take up is consistent or is congruent with the strengths that you bring to the table, then the chances of success multiply many-fold. Whereas if the opportunities you are chasing, the job roles that you are looking at, are because of peer pressure or because they pay more or because of other considerations and not necessarily fully aligned with your strengths, the chances of your success will diminish. So one of the mindsets you need to have is to get started in a way that the job opportunity that you are going to pursue is going to really leverage your strengths. It's in your sweet spot so that you can excel, even if it means that it pays a little less in the beginning. That's a very, very important mindset to have. Find the right pond for yourself so that you can be a great swimmer. Money, promotions, titles will come, and they are a result of great job performance, which is a result of a great fit between your strengths and what the job requires for success. So that's the first thing, understanding your strengths and weaknesses. So my suggestion is spend a little bit of time honestly thinking through what your strengths and weaknesses are. Make a list of at least 4 strengths. What do I mean by strengths? For example, problem solving. For example, analytical skills. For example, your strength may be working with people. You're able to work with people and get things organized very well. You may be really good at complex problem solving, working individually. So whatever it is, write down. Maybe one of your strengths is the ability to learn new things quickly and apply them. So figure out your 4 top strengths and write them down. What are those 4 top strengths? In order to identify those, you can think back over the last 4 to 8 years of your life and think about when were you at your best, when did you achieve a lot, or when were you successful and you really enjoyed yourself doing that, and think then about what was it within you that helped you be successful in those situations. Think back. Now this is an exercise that will take a little bit of time. Remember, preparation will take time. The better prepared you are, the more successful you will be. Think through, write down your 4 top strengths. Okay, first thing. Also identify 2 to 3 of your weaknesses, things that you're not really good at. For example, I do remember that when I was starting out my career, I was an introvert. I wasn't really very good at working in a large group or coordinating activities. I was really great at analysis, problem solving, and so on. So figure out what there are lots of places where you can get a potential list of strengths and weaknesses. Just do a Google search on strength inventory, and you will get a list of things with explanations. So that could be a starting point for you to look at. Okay, these are the things I should think about. Pick 4 or 5 of these as my strengths that I'm good at, I've been successful at, and 2-3 weaknesses I'm not really good at. That if I get a job where that is what is important, then I'm not likely to be very successful. Okay, so make this list. This list is extremely important. The next thing you should start doing is start shortlisting employers. Now, if you are fortunate, like I said, I studied in IIT Delhi, and my college did have lots of campus interviews, and I appeared for a few of those. Look at the list of employers who come to your college. Which one of those, typically employers go back to colleges. Think of which one of those might be appropriate for you, which is an aspirational employer for you. Make a short list of 5 to 7 employers that you would like to work for the kind of thing that you want to do. If you do not have campus recruitment or do not have a very robust list of campus recruiters, think about where your seniors have gone. Typically, the placement departments in your college will be able to provide a list. Talk to some of these people and understand what are they doing. Are they happy doing what they are doing? Which could be potential employers. Seniors are always ready to help their juniors with these sorts of things. They are very, very happy to do it. All you have to do is reach out. Often what we don't do is reach out. So shortlist a set of employers where you would like to work. Yeah. The next thing is start researching opportunities. So what kind of opportunities are available with these employers? What kind of roles have your seniors done? Your placement department will again be able to help you with more data. And which opportunities now would be a good fit with your strengths and definitely not your weaknesses. So start identifying employers and start researching opportunities, talking to seniors, understanding what might be a good desirable thing to do. And again, as I said, it's very common for us to fall into peer pressure and then start thinking about what is my peer doing, where am I going to get the most salary. There are a lot of data published in magazines and newspapers about this much salary, that much salary. I think it's a good time. If those kinds of opportunities fit with your strengths, great, go for them. If not, try and find a good match. Now, for example, when I was finishing my graduation, my BTech in mechanical engineering, we had a lot of campus recruiters who basically fell in several categories. We had manufacturing companies, and I joined one of them, Maruti Suzuki. And I also got an offer from Eicher. At that time, it was a tractor company. And then, so there's many manufacturing companies. We had FMCG companies. I know 4 or 5 of my batchmates joined Hindustan Unilever, which is an FMCG company, and they sort of had careers which were not only in manufacturing, but they were also in sales and in business development, in supply chain, and those kind of things. And they were probably very clear at that time that that is the sort of thing they want to do. There were also software companies who came to recruit at that time. Software at that time was an emerging field. There were also companies from abroad which came, and I know that many of my classmates got hired in an off-campus way by applying to them. Not through the campus recruitment but outside, and got jobs in a company like Schlumberger, the oil exploration company based in the US. It's a global company. So get ready, form a list, and start getting ready to go there. So you may have a list A, or where preferred employers, a list B, which is a fallback option where you may want to go in case option A does not work out. Researching opportunities is very important. The third thing that you have to, when you are getting ready to be hired, this is really, really important, and not many students, not many early career professionals think about this. What you have to understand is what employers look for. Now, I have been on both sides. I was a student, I have been hired a few times in my career, and I have done lots of hiring. I have hired hundreds of people. Large number of freshers too, fresh out of college. What do I look for? Now, many times we think that marks are the most important thing. Actually, they are not. Marks is just a symptom. But the most important things that recruiters look for, the first thing they look for is clarity and focus. Do you have clarity in your mind on what you want? And do you have focus on going after it? This comes, by the way, from your past. See, they have nothing else to look at. So employers will look for clarity and focus, and then they will look for evidence in your most recent past to see if you have applied clarity and focus in your life, because that's the best evidence. They'll not just go by what you say, correct? Because they need evidence. So clarity and focus. What does clarity and focus mean? Clarity and focus means that, by the way, your clarity and focus can change over time, but at any given point in time, are you clear about what you want, and then are you focused on doing the right things and working hard to achieve it? That is clarity and focus, because this is a very important skill in the job situation. Do you have clarity on how to achieve the goals, what goals to achieve, and then the focus to go out and take all the actions necessary to get it done? The second thing that employers look for, and I always looked for in students I was hiring, was action orientation. Are you action oriented, or do you just sit and analyze? So if I see evidence that this person is a good thinker and sits and thinks a lot but doesn't really take a lot of action, they will ask you probing questions in the interview along these lines. So what did you want to do 5 years ago, and then what did you do, and how did you make it happen? They will probe deeper into it to establish that what you are saying is backed by facts. Action orientation means that you just don't sit and think endlessly. You don't just have good ideas, but you are able to quickly move on it It doesn't matter if you fail, remember. Action orientation means being clear about what you want and then going out and taking action. Even if you fail, it's okay. You can get up and try again. But action orientation makes things happen. In the job situation, you don't just need to be a good thinker and problem solver. You need to be an action taker. The third thing that employers look for, because this is a world that is changing very quickly, and in the job things change very quickly, so you have to learn new things quickly and make things happen. So ability to learn quickly, and they will look for evidence. And the reason I'm saying that the getting ready to be hired, the process starts well before the campus recruitment or starting to apply, maybe 6 months or a year before, is please start thinking about these things. Please start documenting your own efforts in the direction of these skills, and start noting down evidences in favor or in support of these things. Ability to learn quickly. So start thinking about what was the last thing you do in your project, in your graduation project. Did you get stuck? Did you have to learn a new skill and figure things out, and so on? And in other situations, did you do an extracurricular event in your college where, for the college festival you had to do something? You didn't know how to do it, but you learned the skill quickly and were able to fix it or make it happen. Ability to learn quickly, very valuable skill that employers look for. Finally, honesty. Are you being truthful? And this is where the ability to talk about your weaknesses comes in. Many people disguise their weaknesses as strength. Many students or professionals say, yeah, my weakness is that I cannot stand negative politics. Now that is really not a weakness, but you are trying to couch something into a weakness that is not. So you are really not being very honest with your weakness. Again, the things that you talk about that you have done. The reason I say you have to start getting ready for this 6 to 1 year in advance is so that you can do all this preparatory work and take action to support all of these 4 things. Honesty. Be honest. If you don't know something, say I don't know. Don't try to embellish your resume with things that you haven't done. It's very easy for recruiters. They are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. They can figure it out with some searching questions. Honesty. These 4 things employers look for, okay? And supporting evidence from your recent past on where you have demonstrated this. So this is very, very important. The next thing that you need to do is firm up a pitch. So the last thing I'm going to share in this video is for getting ready to be hired and developing clarity. It's a good idea to firm up. What is a pitch? A pitch is a very simple, let's call it an elevator pitch. A very quick, it could be a statement, a set of statements about you that tells people about you and what is your pitch. So just follow this template. It works beautifully. Not only does it give you clarity on how to introduce yourself and talk about yourself, even in an interview, but it also gives you clarity of thought on where you are going, and it backs it up with what you have done in the past. So how to write your pitch? First thing you do is you write down, I am a what? What is the degree or specialization, with a keen interest in type of work or results. So for example, I might say that I am a BTech in mechanical engineering with a keen interest in automotive design and design of the vehicle transmission system or something like that. Now this should be a true statement. This is not made up. Now also you might say, so when you talk about with a keen interest in, you might also want to talk about the results you want to produce. So for example, you may say that I am a bachelor in computer science from so and so college with a keen interest in exploring artificial intelligence, and I want to be associated with the development of XYZ. Now what you are saying here is that this is you. right? This is currently you. This is where your specialization, this is what your current area of interest is. Now, the second thing you talk about in your pitch is how did you get here? Okay. Now, when I say that I'm a BTech in mechanical engineering with a keen interest in automotive design, specifically in the area of powertrains and engines, I might say in the last 4 years, I have focused my attention in this area. So I have done projects and I have done research and I have given some talks and so on in the area of automotive design. So my interest was peaked about 4 years ago, and in the last 4 years this is what I have been doing, or since I was a child this is what I have been doing, and that is what has got me here. And with this degree now, that sort of cycle is complete. So what have you done to get here? How did you get here? Remember, this talks about your clarity and focus. Remember the thing I talked about. The third thing you should do is talk about where do you want to go from here. So you might say in the next 5 years, it doesn't matter that time period, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, or in the next few years, yeah, I aim to what? That is your pitch. Now, the I aim to could include your job role. So I aim to perform as a software developer in the area of artificial intelligence, and specifically targeting this industry or something like that. You might also position I aim to as what do you aim to learn and what do you aim to deliver. Deliver means what are the outcomes you want to produce, or you might say I aim to achieve. So use any of these formats, but try and paint a picture of the future where you would like to be. Okay, because employers would like to hear that, and they may come back and say, yeah, you know what, we don't exactly do this, but this is what we do. What do you think? Would that still work for you? And you might think about it and ask a few intelligent questions and establish that, yeah, that is sort of taking you in the required direction. Yeah. So complete these things. So what are the to-dos for you? The to-dos for you after this, at the end of this video, is understand your strengths and weaknesses. Remember, I said 4 weaknesses. If 5, that is great, but at least 4. At least 4 strengths, 5 if possible. At least 2 weaknesses, honest ones. 3 if possible, no problem at all. Shortlist employers, talk to seniors, talk to your placement department, etc. Research the opportunities, understand what they do in those job roles so you can talk about them intelligently when the time comes in interviews. Make sure that you understand that clarity and focus, action orientation, ability to learn quickly, and honesty is what employers look for. It is about they trying to solve their problem by hiring you. They are not here to do charity. They are here to fill their company with the best people who will solve their problems. And if the incoming employee has these 4, that's great. So understand that and look for evidence for that in your life over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and then firm up your pitch by doing all of these things. Yeah, in your pitch, it'll sort of talk to your strengths. It'll sort of talk to your areas of interest. It'll communicate clarity and focus, and if possible, communicate your ability to learn quickly and be honest about it. And I'll see you after you're done all of this, I'll see you in the next video where I'm going to start talking about resumes. See you soon.